The murder of Michael McGurk at his Cranbrook Avenue Cremorne home on September the 3rd last year rocked this state. Speculation about motives for the murder was intense after it was revealed that in the months before his death, Mr McGurk had told Herald investigative journalists of the existence of a tape recording said to implicate the Labor state government in planning corruption involving some of Labor's donor developers. Early this year, while the Homicide Squad's Strikeforce Narungga investigation was still underway, an unprecedented public hearing by the Independent Commission Against Corruption found that the tape recording contained no evidence of corruption or criminality. This week, after a 13-month investigation, 4 men were arrested over the murder of Michael McGurk. Detectives say more arrests could soon be made. For the first time, the public will learn what police allege is the motive for Mr McGurk's murder. This will come in the form of police and prosecution statements to the courts. 3 years ago, State Line's Nick Grimm interviewed one of the alleged murderers. Tonight he brings us up to date on the case so far.
When Michael McGurk was shot in front of his son on Thursday night, detectives quickly identified several of his associates for questioning.
If Michael McGurk's business dealings were complex, his murder was chillingly simple. A lone bullet to the head as he stepped from his car.
Understand, we are investigating a homicide. We have got a cold-blooded murder happening in a street in Sydney with a young boy who has witnessed the death of his father. That is horrific.
The little boy came running in screaming, "Mummy, mummy, mummy, quickly, Daddy."
Just looked like he was lying next to the car. Then after probably about 15 minutes, they probably put a sheet over him.
The deceased is very well known to the police, and there's quite a lot of avenues of inquiry that have already been established that we're pursuing with some vigour.
It was more than 13 months ago when the question was first asked. Who killed Michael McGurk, the Sydney property dealer, standover man and lender of last resort? Well, this week New South Wales Police moved against, arrested and charged 4 men they allege were responsible for organising and carrying out that murder.
Look, it has been an ongoing investigation for some months, as I say. It's been a very difficult investigation. It is very satisfying that we have now progressed to our first round of arrests.
A large contingent of police swooped on 3 of the men at a business address at Chipping Norton in Sydney's west. A 4th man, 20-year-old Christopher Estefan, arrived at King's Cross Police Station in the company of his lawyer to keep a pre-arranged appointment to hand himself in.
This is clearly a case that some people have been charged with a solicit to murder.
Former boxer Lucky Gattalari is the best known of those arrested. He's accused of paying to have McGurk killed. Facing similar charges is Gattalari's 42-year-old associate, Senad Kamenik, who has been described as a former Bosnian soldier who ran a security business. Meanwhile, 20-year-old Estefan and his co-accused, 45-year-old Haysam Safetli, are both alleged to have been at the scene of the killing. While McGurk was killed by 1 shot to the head, both have been charged with his murder.
There is simply 1 shot which has been fired, being the fatal shot sustained by Michael McGurk. There is clear evidence that 2 persons were present at that time.
So this is the factory floor now?
Yeah, my 3-car garage, as you can see. That's where we put everything in here. Tyres, everything else.
3 years ago, Haysam Safetli was in the public eye for very different reasons when he spoke to the ABC's 7:30 report about a dispute with the National Australia Bank.
At any time we could have sold assets and paid off the bank. But the problem you have with the banks is when they grab you, that's it, you're finished.
Meanwhile, Lucky Gattalari was represented in court this week by one of Sydney's top defence barristers. Tony Belanto told Liverpool Court that custody was causing his client particular distress.
He has claustrophobia and he's not very attuned to being in confined spaces, that's all.
Does he deny the allegations?
Look, I can't really say anything at the moment. Thank you very much.
Over the past year, Strikeforce Narungga has interviewed hundreds of people in relation to Michael McGurk's business dealings. He was a man with many enemies. But just 10 days before his death, McGurk told Sydney Morning Herald investigative journalist Kate McClymont the name of the person he believed was planning to kill him.
I spoke to him the week before his death, and during that conversation he said that he was in fear for his life. He said that he had learnt that someone was planning to kill him, and he gave me the name of the person he thought was planning his murder. I have to say that I never for one moment imagined that what he was saying would come to pass.
Michael McGurk also claimed to possess a secret tape recording containing evidence of bribery and corruption involving members of the New South Wales government and senior public servants. After his death, one of McGurk's business associates, the Sydney identity Jim Burns, claimed the recording had been reviewed by a well-known former politician.
That information is dynamite, and if it's substantiated, obviously we'll see a change of government, because it will topple this state government.
The political intrigue deepened when it was later revealed the former politician who'd heard the tape was the Labor power broker Graham Richardson. But Mr Richardson insisted to a state parliamentary inquiry that the recording in question was mostly inaudible. At the time, Mr Richardson was employed as a lobbyist for the property developer Ron Medich. Last year, Mr Medich angrily denied any involvement in the murder, but he acknowledged that his was one of the voices that could be heard on Michael McGurk's tape.
I actually know when he took that tape, and he took it illegally at a time when we were talking about all this money he's defrauded from me. I remember it was in the boardroom of a solicitor called, it was just him and me, called Rob Hugh. He wanted me to come to the office and said, now listen, if you don't forget about this case and drop all these proceedings, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the tax department. I'm going to, say that I've got evidence on a tape, that's going to bring the government down, all these type of things. I'm going to say that you blabbed all around town, you got political connections and things like that. And that is what actually happened. So you know what I did? I went to the police because I knew that I haven't said anything and I've had any dealings with anybody.
An ICAC investigation into the tape concluded that Michael McGurk's claim about its damning contents was merely extravagant nonsense. Ron Medich had been a business associate of McGurk's, but he fell out with the murdered man over a financial dispute. Mr Medich is also a business associate and lifelong friend of Lucky Gattalari. Stateline does not suggest that Ron Medich is a suspect in the case.
I'm not prepared to make any comment in relation to the position of Ron Medich at this stage.
The case is not at an end yet. Police say they believe others were involved in McGurk's murder and that they will act on those suspicions soon.
Strikeforce and Narragansett investigations are continuing. It is anticipated further charges and arrests will be forthcoming. There is a number of other matters which have been identified as part of this investigation, which police will act on in the short term.